Well, it's September 2nd today, and I'm stuck in town because I've used up all of my data. Hoping my phone will perch there. Used up all of my data because I've really been hammering the internet as our election impends, and it is so crucial we get rid of Trudeau. Excuse me. So, part two of the psychology of fear and how Trudeau has been utilizing it and how well it's been working. As I said in the first video, people were scared, with just cause, of the coronavirus. So, the vaccine would eliminate their fear. If they took the jab, they wouldn't have to be scared anymore. Well, it turned out it didn't work, but if you got a second one, it would. People still scared. They're not doing their critical thinking. Aren't, and past tense, weren't questioning anything except the government and the media propaganda. They were just spooning back that pre-digested BS. So they took the second shot. Well, by that point in time, they, Big Brother, Big Bucks, and Big Pharma had to admit, well, no, it doesn't stop you from catching it or spreading it, but possibly you'll be less sick, and that'll be good because the ECUs won't back up and it won't be a burden on the health system, and you're doing your bit, taking one for the team, and we can move forward and blah blah BS. But they still didn't want to be scared. They wanted to think the second one would take away that fear of mortality from the COVID. And some of them will take a third shot. They'll keep going with that. Because if they step back and take a look and say, wait a minute, this jab doesn't do anything except increase my odds of mortality, because now I could die of the COVID, and some pretty scary statistics coming out on the adverse events, the adverse effects, which includes mortality. Myocarditis, you get that, you've got a 5-6 year sentence. It's all over. And blood clotting, etc., etc., etc. So, the fear factor. I was so scared of the coronavirus, but I didn't think. I just took the shot because I didn't want to be scared, and then I was still scared, so I took the second shot so I wouldn't be scared. And well, I'm less scared because they tell me it sort of works, maybe and possibly, and so I'm less scared, and I don't want to consider that it doesn't work, because then I'll be scared again. And if I consider that it might kill me or make me really ill, lifelong complications, then I'd be double scared. I'd be more than scared. I'd be terrified. So no, everybody's got to get it because Trudeau says so, and it's for the children, and the fact that children don't die of it I don't want to think about it because I'd get scared. So I'm just going to give me a vaccine passport because that'll help. Yeah, that'll help. I won't be scared because that doesn't make any sense, but it makes more sense to buy that than it does to think about it's all so scary, I don't want to think about it. Give me the third jab. No, really, it's that sad that some people are that scared that it just trumps their logic. They can't think straightly. And Trudeau has played on the pandemic for his political agenda. It's worked really well for him. It really has. It's sad. And now he's taken this hard stance that those people, that's what he said in his speech, those people who won't accept mandatory vaccines, not just passports, those people put our children, your children, and my children at risk. Oh, yeah? Well, we know that the odds of the youth and children, especially, perishing from the COVID it's like non-existent. Viruses have always mutated. They always will. And barring the Spanish influenza, they almost never strike children. And the bottom line is, these vaccines that aren't, this mRNA technology, doesn't do anything except bollocks up your immune system. And we want to give this to children who are still developing. And Trudeau says those people are threatening your children. Think about that. What's threatening your children, our children, the nation's children? It's Trudeau's policy of giving them an experimental vaccine that, again, isn't a vaccine. Now that is something we should be scared of. A generation of young people and children, and we're going to suggest that they tamper with their immune system? That's beyond political irresponsibility to push his own agenda. That is criminal. That's a sin. It's a moral sin to threaten children with, again, an experimental technology. And I'll summate this by saying a lot of the pro-jabbers, pro-vaccination, whatever you want to call it, they're saying, oh, but the FDA approved it. Now it's okay. No, the FDA did not approve it. Let me explain this, and this is fact. You can look it up. The FDA approved Pfizer's newest batch. It's called Comirnaty, and they haven't made it yet. Yeah, and it's not on the market. Because the FDA approved it, Pfizer would be potentially liable. Whereas without FDA approval, they're not liable. So the American government plays it as if it now has FDA approval. And some of the pro-vaxxers, the not terribly sharp ones, are saying, see, it is approved. What I got's approved. No, it's not. You listening to what I'm saying? You listening to what the FDA says, the CDC says? It's not approved. It's not even on the market. And furthermore, excuse me, smoker's cough, not COVID. Furthermore, how did it get FDA approval? Something that hasn't even been put on the market yet. How do you approve that? That's why the original batches didn't get approved. They didn't go through clinical trials. So how can something that's not even on the market be approved? And this is what Trudeau's pushing. Yeah, he doesn't care what jab you put in you. The manufacturers say don't mix breeds. Trudeau says go right ahead and do it. So there's nothing that isn't experimental about these vaccines that aren't. And Trudeau wants your children, and he's talking going down to 5 years of age. Whoa. The man is, well, he's a sociopath with a dictatorial agenda. And if you think he cares about the nation's children, well, maybe you better go get that third shot.